To intimidate their opponents, the aggressors scream and drum on buttress roots. The battle won, a grisly scene unfolds. An enemy youngster has been caught and killed. The carcass is shared between members of the group and eaten.
Join us as we show you the dark side of the wildlife. From fluffy hamsters to lions, we have a lot of surprises for you.
Besides, wonderful fathers and mothers in the animal world who always loves to take care and protect their children.
You'd think every animal is a cannibal after watching this video. Ready to test that theory? Let's get into it. Number 1, the patrol attack. Oh, but the monkeys do not always attack a single victim and devour them whole. No, sometimes the smart chimps come up with a planned attack to leave the enemy tribe crumbling into pieces.
To intimidate their opponents, the aggressors scream and drum on buttress roots.
This one isn't any different. A bunch of chimps met up to take down an enemy tribe. They all invade the forest, screeching and drumming the roots. One group splits from the rest to attack a female aggressor. She manages to escape, but the others are not so lucky.
Like and subscribe right now, and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week.
One guy got cornered by all the other bullies, and he ended up facing the worst of their wrath. The same army was then seen enjoying the feast of their win. They probably needed some protein after all that energy put into the fight. Number 2, the savage land. This clip is nothing but pure mayhem. It starts with a pretty normal scene, with monkeys scattered across the whole land. But if you look closely, you will find the most horrid sight. A monkey with a baby in its mouth. No, it isn't a protective move by a mother for her baby. It is far worse. Just wait for a few seconds. There you go, that baby is getting devoured by that zombie monkey. While that monkey was busy feasting on its dinner, the others did not show any need to share that meat. But it doesn't take long for the chaos to erupt and make you feel grateful that you are a human. A rebel hops out of nowhere and interrupts the cannibal session, lunging at anyone he can find. He doesn't stop until the others are miles away from him. Who do you think should be the alpha, the cannibal or the hopper? Number 3, the quietest feast. Imagine going to a safari park and you stumble upon a cannibalistic baboon. That's what happened with these guys. They saw a male baboon was feasting on a baby, trying to rip it to shreds.
Oh, it's a baby one! He's eating the baby monkey! Or is he trying to save it?
The female baboon tried to save the baby multiple times, but all of her efforts went in vain. The male had rained such terror around the land that nobody even dared to come near him. But he was bothered by all the chatter then, and took his meal to a different place. Number 4, monkeys for the win. The chimps have a knack for going for planned and strategic attack. This is probably why most scientists consider them lab rats. These guys proved the scientists right. They took on a formation that would have the monkeys cornered.
An unfamiliar chimp call raises the tension. It's an uncertain time. The size of the rival group is as yet unknown.
A group stood on the other side of the jungle, eagerly waiting to trap and attack the monkeys. One of them set up the bait to lure the monkeys toward the other chimps. Within minutes, the monkeys found themselves falling straight into the trap. The chimps had the monkey pushed to a corner where they could devour him whole. Boy, talk about a bad day to picnic in the jungle. Number 5, group against one. This chimpanzee is outright getting bullied by the whole group. One smack after another, the chimpanzee is the center of all the abuse. The little one tries to stick out for his big friend, but it does not quite go as planned. Instead, he ends up getting 1 or 2 hits too. He can easily be the future alpha, but that's not happening anytime soon. At one point, the bullies join together to throw the chimpanzee off of the cliff. That's a pretty Lion King move, to be fairly honest. But the chimpanzee gets back up and hides. That didn't send the bullies away though. They team up to intimidate the chimp even more by shoving her into a corner. Eventually, they all move away, but not without throwing a few more smacks at the chimp's way. Boy, aren't they the rudest bunch of bullies. Number 6, ruining the fun for everyone. This jerk was spotted ruining the pool party for everyone. He was trying to drown the baby monkey who was reportedly an orphan. The other monkeys were spotted trying to hype the killer by making low grunt voices. What's funny is that it seemed like they were all agreeing that the baby had to go. The killer was in for some serious business because he kept smacking the baby too to make it all happen faster. The poor guy tried his best to fight back. His struggle paid off because a passerby saw the whole fiasco and sent the monkeys running. The baby survived, but I am sure that freedom didn't last very long. Number 7, the giant lizard. Komodo dragons are the biggest lizards in the world, but they aren't just scary to other animals. They can be a threat to their own too. Look at this guy devouring another Komodo dragon like it is no big deal. The worst part? The victim isn't even dead yet. The wild is truly wild. Number 8. The alligator attack. A human can't possibly survive an attack by such a large horde of alligators. What about if it is one of their own? The answer's pretty visible. The poor alligator stood no chance against his own family. First, they drowned the guy, and when he took his last breath, they didn't even wait to say goodbye. The group of bullies collectively lunged at the fallen alligator and started munching on him one by one. The interesting thing is that they are too many in number. I doubt that they would be full after that one alligator. Do you think they would pounce on one another after finishing this feast? Let us know in the comment. Number 9, the polar bear attack. A bunch of scientists were out exploring the Arctic region, but they had no clue the horrors they were about to see. The group saw a polar bear running after something. They thought that it was a seal that he was chasing for its next meal. But boy, were they wrong. A female polar bear and her cub were spotted running from the male. Females don't do that unless they feel threatened.
The mother bear immediately led her cubs to run away. But how can the bear cubs run away? As the male bear did not care about the resistance of the female bear.
The scientists soon realized that the male wanted to eat them. The mother stopped at one point to defend her baby, but the male completely ignored the female and sprinted right after the cub. He grabbed it by its teeth and hopped right into the ocean. The mother tried to snatch the baby back, but it was too late. She stood for a little while, looking at the duo helplessly, but then she realized that she could be next. So she bolted the scene while the polar bear feasted on the cub. Number 10, praying mantis mating. A male mantis found a female that he wanted to impress. They were busy fondling when the cannibalistic side of the female popped out.
Is this a loving kiss or something more sinister?
She started eating the head of the male who didn't bat an eye. He let her bite and eat his head while the duo was busy mating. Luckily, the male got out in time, but he will have to pay a huge price for that single date. Number 11, the killer stork. This guy came to mess with the baby storks lying in the nest. Imagine fighting with baby. Clearly, this guy had no shame. He raided the nest and started attacking the baby. The poor siblings tried to defend each other from the evil stork, but it didn't work out that well. Even though they were 2 against 1, they stood no chance against their enemy. In the end, the stork won. Here's the fun part. This stork was a female. Apparently, it had no nest and had invaded this nest with the sole intention of taking the lives of these babies. Talk about evil. Number 12, the pack of hyenas. Hyenas have always had a sadistic vibe to them, but who knew that they attack their own too? See for yourself in this terrifying clip. This guy got caught up in the middle of some cannibals in his own crowd, and he couldn't believe his eyes. You can spot the look of pure shock as he quickly becomes the target of a cannibal.
One individual hyena is in serious trouble. Its one ear is just about being ripped off. And like I said, this isn't easy to...
He was probably trying to rip his head apart, but kept lunging at his ear. But he didn't look very experienced, though, because he simply couldn't do it right. The victim looked appalled, though. It seemed as if he had accepted his fate and was letting the cannibal do his own thing. Talk about a dramatic ending. But that didn't last long. The cannibal hit a nerve, and the hyena responded with some struggle. The others dare not intervene. Number 13, feasting on a hyena. You thought ripping an ear apart of an animal was scary? Check this out. This one is just plain brutal, and it all goes on normally in the wild. These hyenas were spotted eating one of their own. The body had attracted the whole crowd, not just one oddball in the mix. They all took their turns in tasting the live meal in front of them. But here's the terrifying part. This guy was alive, yet the jerks were spotted taking a bite off of its body. He tried to fight back, but it was all in vain. The poor guy had lost a limb and couldn't walk properly. I bet he is going to survive that greedy pack. What do you think? Number 14, the night attack. Some attacks don't happen in the middle of the day. Instead, they are done in the quiet of the night when no one's watching. These cannibals probably have been doing this in secret. Too bad you got caught right here, fellas. The duo was spotted munching on the neck of another hyena. They probably killed him a few hours before, and were now trying to feast on their win. It doesn't look like the fallen hyena showed any form of struggle. Ah, well, happy munching, I think. Number 15, the lion attack. The lions are pretty scary animals, especially if you see them in packs. That doesn't mean that they wouldn't attack their own. This lion was spotted fighting with its own cub.
But this is nature, raw and real.
It tried to rip it apart to make it easy for what it was about to do next. The problem is that it wasn't one random attack. No, this is often seen in male lions who like to devour their cubs.
The fact is that the females of most mammals can't mate and get pregnant while feeding.
One of them was sighted carrying the body of its cub to a quiet place. Nature is a scary place. Number 16, the snake eater. The king cobra is a wild snake that likes to eat other snakes. That's why people call it the snake eater. This guy grows to nearly 18 feet in length, but here's the terrifying part. The snake can lift up to 1/3 of its body. If you find this anywhere near you, it will be able to look directly into your eyes. But you don't have to fear the cannibals.
His fangs gather up the meal step by step and inch by inch, feeding it down his long, straight digestive tract.
These guys are pretty much after their own. They will squish the body of the snakes until they run out of breath. Once that's done, that's when they gobble them up, just like this king cobra right here. Number 17, the snake fight. This clip is a bit daunting. Straight from India, this is a male king cobra that is busy devouring a female king cobra. If you look closely, you can spot how big they are. They are more than 10 feet long, and yet the snake doesn't show any hesitation in eating one of its own. Number 18, the swarm attack. Mormon crickets move in swarms, but you will never guess what goes around at this party. They are known for eating anything and everything when they travel in large groups. I am talking hundreds here, but sometimes there isn't enough food for the whole swarm.
Often, there isn't enough food to support the entire swarm, and so members are left with no choice but to eat each other.
That's often a bummer because these guys were promised food, so they will do anything to get it, even if it means eating each other. There are many sightings of these crickets eating up their friends, just not always when they are in swarms. Sometimes one or two might attack another and feast on its body. Number 19, the female spider's strange deal. Dating can be quite hard. If you have any doubts, ask these guys. One of them approached a female spider in hopes of impressing her, but she lunged after him with a ferocious grasp.
Combined with the chewing action of her fangs and jaws, reduces the prey to a biological soup.
He managed to escape, but the other one wasn't so lucky. He probably told his friend to wait and watch, but he is about to regret that. The female didn't like this male either for mating, so she grabbed him.
Only the fittest males can court, mate, and then evade the female.
Fixed him up in a food parcel and was all set to devour him. The poor guy just wanted a date. Number 20, shark eats shark. Sharks aren't very shy from showing cannibalism either. This big dude in the sea was spotted carrying another shark in its mouth. It was probably flexing his kill while he waited for a quiet place to eat him. Number 21, the aggressive sibling. Cannibals are often born, not bred. This is a pretty good example of that theory. The birds are considered great parents. They feed their offspring and nurture them until they grow of age. But they can have favorites too. That's the case for these birds too.
The oldest chick can act aggressively towards its brothers and sisters, and its attempts to dominate may well lead to the death of another chick.
If there is more than one baby born, there will be a chick that will try to dominate over the others. The problem is that it isn't in the softest of ways. The chick will try to attack its siblings until they take their last breath.
This is only beneficial for them. You know, less problems with food, you can spend the time saved on yourself.
Hey, the weakest doesn't survive in the wild, and the parents make sure of that. This is why you won't see this parent interfering in the battle between the siblings. It wants the best to win, even if it means that it is a cannibal. 22. Cannibalism in chickens. You would think chickens would be the last animal to show any kind of cannibalism, but you'd be wrong. They become cannibalistic when there is a fight for food.
We've got a few more chickens that have left the coop. They've already gone through the pecking order experience, so everything's pretty calm right now.
And when there are too many of them to count. This case isn't any different. A poor chicken was spotted being devoured by its friends, but the next case is just disturbing.
Take a little break from all this. We'll give them their space, let them explore when they feel ready to go. It's kind of a big step meeting everybody else.
A few people have tried to give fried chicken to their poultry. Let's just say the result was not as satisfying to watch. The chickens came running and munched on the feast without showing an ounce of regret. Number 23, the stork attack. This guy isn't here to kill. No, it wants to eat that baby, and the coast is all clear for him. The big stork takes its time with this storklet. Since it isn't that big, the baby wasn't that easy to swallow. The baby had long passed away with all the pinching and the smacking with its long beak. But the stork was facing some sort of karma and couldn't enjoy its meal. It tried many times to gobble it up whole, but it didn't work. At last, the stork found a way, and the little baby was no more. It is surprising how unbothered the other stork baby is about this whole fiasco. Number 24, the wild hamster. You thought hamsters only grow from 1 to 100. What about these oddballs in the crowd that eat their own baby? Yes, this white hamster was recorded eating its babies not even a week after they were born. The weird part is that she isn't the only mother to be pulling off this brutal act. Many hamster mothers are seen gobbling up their babies hours after they enter the world. It doesn't help that this one has red eyes. She ate and left no crumbs for real. Number 25, the fox carcass. A researcher decided to test the theory of cannibalism on these foxes. He left a carcass near the vixens and saw the whole fiasco unfold before his very eyes. First, a few birds came to take a quick nibble. Then, things started to go downhill.
Kind of was looking at it from a distance and looking very hesitant about it, and just having a look and trying to decipher what exactly had happened, in my view.
For a couple of days, 2 foxes took turns to see and figure out what happened to the cub. They were probably close because they didn't immediately rip apart its body. Then came the harsh part. The very next day, the looks of shock turned into eager bites. Soon enough, the fox took the entire carcass away to eat it later. Number 26, mother monkey's brutal attack. Imagine having beef with your own mother. This poor guy was ambushed by his crazy mother out of nowhere. He kept screeching, but his cry for help was literally heard by no one around. Maybe no one wanted to step into whatever chaotic drama is going out here. The baby monkey was dragged around for several feet by the mother until he couldn't scream anymore. I wonder if his dad suffered the same fate. What do you think of this unfair fight? Number 27, the vile attack. This monkey will regret stepping foot on the chimp's land because it not going back alive. Would you look at the way that chimp is just going on at the monkey? He must have done the chimp dirty because that animal refused to stop. At one point, the chimp got so pissed off with the monkey that he threw him off the ledge and into the river. Then, he probably got hungry. The big animal climbed down and grabbed the monkey back up to the ledge by his arm. Talk about flexing his authority. Even the others are horrified. Heck, there were people standing at the back and they didn't dare interrupt the chimp's terrifying show. Would you stand back and watch or run if you saw something like this happen? Number 28, the cannibal frog. This frog was fine swimming alone. He was probably a lone wolf, because as soon as he got a partner, the angry frog was not happy. It didn't matter that it was a baby or one of its own. The frog saw an opportunity and took it. He swallowed him up right there and then. Wow, this was brutally fast. Number 29, the newborn's torturous welcome. This poor guy had just been born, and he might already be praying to go back. His mother is surely hoping that wish will come true. You don't believe me? Check it for yourself. The mother picks up the baby only to let him fall off the ledge. Then, she starts to open up to the baby and even invites him up for a nursing session. But it doesn't really go as well as she had hoped, because the very next moment, she gets all angsty. She starts fighting with the newborn already struggling and pushes him off of her body. When that doesn't work, she grabs him and rips him apart from her. The helpless creature couldn't catch a break. But the torture doesn't end there. The poor guy was spotted just lying there with his puppy eyes for hours. The mother comes back only to mock him and then leave again. Whatever this tough parenting is, I am sure the baby wants nothing to do with it. 30. The fun jump. And this scene is straight out of a thriller movie because the plot twist is pretty amazing. The duo was spotted smacking a chimp standing on the edge of a cliff. The poor guy seemed to be fighting a losing battle, trying to keep the other two at bay. Honestly, I am surprised the chimp got to play that role for a long time. The cliff was easily 30 feet high, and there was no way the chimp was going down without a battle. The duo did their best to push the chimp off of the cliff. In the end, they succeeded. But the chimp was playing the underdog all this while. He took that 30 feet drop like it was a fun jump in the park. Their fight didn't end there though. He took off and the other two raced after him. I wonder if the chimp survived. Which party would you bet on? Number 31, the Rowdy Boys. These guys were just playing around with each other while their parents were watching, but the playtime was soon about to turn violent. One baby probably ticked off the father. He immediately grabbed the monkey and started to strangle it. The look of fear in that monkey's eyes is horrifying, but he was eventually let go. The poor guy ran back to his mother in a state of utter panic. But it wasn't over yet. The mother left the scene and the father was in charge of the babies. To put it simply, she shouldn't have done that. The father picked up the boy again and choked him pretty violently this time. He even stepped on the baby The poor guy was just lying on the forest floor for a couple of minutes before getting back up again. Number 32. The baby chimp's demise. This furry little baby is soon about to meet its end, and he has no clue. The baby was playing around his mother when a group of bullies raided their sweet space.
In the Mahali Mountains south of Gombe, researchers have recorded this terrible event not once, but 7 times, and are at a loss to explain it.
The baby ran, but it didn't take long for those big chimpanzees to run after the baby and snatch it in one go. His mother tried to climb up the trees to save her son, but the chimps were too brutal. They used the baby to smack the mother and throw her off of the tree. The mother fell down, and there was no way out for the young guy. The big chimpanzee then found a quiet spot to eat one of its own. Can you name a more vicious father-son playtime? That's all, folks. If you were left shocked by this video, make sure you let us know by smashing the like button. Also, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Which animal's cannibalistic behavior was the most shocking? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and goodbye.